Hi everyone, so I am so excited because today I finally have got the Minnie Mouse charm on one loom, and I will also have Mickey Mouse linked in the description box below depending on which one I upload first. But without further ado, let's get started. One last thing before we get started, please note that this is a very advanced design because we will be moving a lot of loose bands on our hook to the loom and back and forth across the loom. So if you're unable to do that, then I suggest maybe watch the tutorial first just to make sure that you might be able to do that. So let's get started. So for this design you'll need one loom and your hook, as well as bands in the colors of black and red. You'll need a lot of black because that's mainly what this whole design is colored, and an optional clear band because that is what holds everything together, but you can also use a red or a black band, and you'll also need one seat clip. And like always, my supplies were all from the Rainbow Loom web store. So first we're going to start off with making Minnie Mouse's bow. Here I have the pattern drawn out on this template paper that I got from madebymommy.com, and it is somewhat improved from my tutorial using 2 looms for Minnie Mouse, if you saw that one. And we won't be needing the 2 extra C-clips to hold the bow together like we did in my other design, so this one is definitely improved. So I'm going to start with my loom's arrows pointing down, and since they're pointing down, we're going to start putting bands on from the top down to the bottom. And now we will be using 2 cap bands and putting them on these 2 pegs here. So I'm going to take a single red band and wrap it around each of these 2 bottom corner pins 3 times. And your loom should now look like this. So now we're going to start the hooking process, and I'm going to go in this left pin and go inside the cap bands here and grab, and the first band we're going to grab is this band right here. So go inside your cap band, and it's a little bit tight, so be careful, and hook that over to the center pin. And now we're going to hook the bands going upwards. And now we're going to do the same thing to this pin here. And now we're going to do the bands that go outwards. So I'm going to start by doing the one that goes to the right, which is the band that is on top, and then the band going to the left. And now I'm going to hook these 2 outer bands that go inwards, push my bands down, and now we're going to start on this top half of the bow. So the first band I'm going to grab is this right one here, going inside these bands here. And the 2 bands that are going inwards now. And the ones that go up on both sides. And now we're going to be picking up this band first. And lastly, these 2 bands that are going upwards on both sides of our loom. And we are almost done with the hooking process, but first I'm going to show you how to tie off this bow. So as you can see here on this pin, I have 2 layers of bands, which is basically one band folded in half. And I'm just going to take the bottom band, go inside of the loop and pull it up and over. And do the same thing to the other side, pulling this bottom band up and over the pin. And basically we've kind of tied a knot, so use your hook and give these bands a little yank to tighten. And now we can take this bow off of our loom. So here's the almost finished bow. What I'm going to do with these 2 ends that are sticking out is tuck them in and hide them inside the bow. So I'm just going to take my hook and kind of stick it in a really random spot. And now I'm going to pull this loop through the bow, so then we're tucking it in. So just kind of pull it through with your hook. And it's now hidden, so I'm going to do the same thing to this loop here. So now I'm just going to take a single red band and loop it around the middle of this bow now. Like that, and I'm going to do one more. So taking another red band and double looping it in the center of the bow. And don't bother scooching them together, just kind of scooch them apart because later we're going to need to do something with the middle of the bow. So they're spread out like this on mine. Set this aside and now we can start with Minnie Mouse's ears and body. So first we're going to start with one of Minnie Mouse's ears, and this is with my loom's arrows pointing down. And once again, this template is from madebymommy.com. So once again, make sure that your arrows are pointing down on your loom. And I'm going to start by taking a single black band and going around the perimeter. I'm just starting at the top of my loom. Now we will be using double black bands. And now we're going to put a cap band on this middle pin here. So I'm taking a single black band and I'm going to wrap it around this middle pin 3 to 4 times. I will be doing 4 times, but if it's too hard for you, then you can do 3 times. Like that. And now we are going to use our hook and start the hooking process. So the first band we're going to hook is this band right here, or these double bands here. And be careful because the cap band is on here and it likes to slip off during this first part. And there are a ton of bands here, so be careful as to which ones you're grabbing. And from here we will be going in a clockwise motion, so I'll be going to this band next. And now we're going to be going in a clockwise motion again, doing these bands that are around the perimeter of Minnie Mouse's ear. And we have now finished doing the hooking process on Minnie Mouse's first ear, and we're just going to leave that here for now and start on Minnie Mouse's body. So for the body, we're basically going to be working in halves and then attaching them together. So we will be starting on Minnie Mouse's left half first. So my ear is right here, and so I'm just going to skip one pin from this right side and start on this pin here. So I'm going to start with black bands like always. And now we're going to make something like a zigzag pattern around Minnie Mouse's half of her body. So it kind of goes diagonal. Before we put this one on, make sure you are using double bands on this last one right here. Now I'm going to line the inside of Minnie Mouse's body. And the inside. And lastly, I'm going to put a cap band of one single black band right in this middle one right here. You can wrap it around 3 to 4 times. If it's too hard for you, you can do 3, but I will be doing 4. And now we can start the hooking process. So I'm going to go, when we're hooking this, we're going to always start at the bottom and go upwards in a clockwise motion. So the first band we're going to be hooking is this band right here. So go inside the cap band and grab that band, and be careful because it's easy to confuse all these bands together because they are dark. And the next band we'll be hooking is this band here. And now we will be starting on the perimeter of the inside, these bands that go around here. So I'm going to start at the bottom. And now we're going to start doing this zigzag-like pattern that goes around, and start at the bottom again. Now before we go any further, we have to attach on Minnie Mouse's ear as well as her bow. So first I'm going to carefully remove the ear from the loom, but remember that this end up here is our loose end, so do not remove this part from the loom. So now I'm just going to take my hook and stick it inside this top pin here with the loose ends and remove it from the loom. And now I'm going to reattach it on this pin right here. Now there's one extra little thing we have to do here. If we leave this ear here like that, it'll be kind of floppy when our project is done. So what I'm going to do is stick my hook into the loops here. As you can see, there's like a little branch of loops here, so just stick them inside and then attach them onto this pin here. Like that. And we can now continue the hooking process, but on the last band that we're hooking during this diagonal part, we have to add on the bow. So don't go ahead to that part yet. Now at this point we're going to need our bow, so go ahead and grab that, and we're going to use our hook and stick it inside the middle of the bow. Now we won't be going through the bow this way, we'll be going in behind, like upwards. So hold your bow flat and stick the hook upwards and through the middle of the bow. And now we will be hooking this band that is right here. So reach in and grab that band like you normally would, but now we're going to pull it through the bow. So kind of tug on your bow, and you're going to pull this black band through the middle of the bow, like that. So now the bow is attached, and then place the black band back on the pin. So the bow is now attached here. And now we are going to hook the perimeter bands, so I'm going to start at the bottom again, and hook this section around. And at this point, kind of just ignore the bow and place this band on the pin that it belongs. So now we have finished half of Minnie Mouse, and we are ready to take it off the loom, but this end right here has all of our loose bands, so leave that there and take everything else off. So as you can see here, we now have half of Minnie Mouse, and we're going to make the other half of her now.